former NIA director confessed torture of unlawful detainees by state agents. South Africa's mining industry supports government initiative to fight COVID-19. Gambia Bureau of Statistics failed to present its financial report before the National Assembly PEC Committee. These and more stories are on your way in this edition of The World Today. Hello, you are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us. And now the news in detail. And we begin with matters of the TRRC. Now, Salimina Drame, former Director of Operations at the National Intelligence Agency, has told the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission that the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, was a torture chamber for unlawful detainees. He said that no one could deny the fact that the tortures were happening at the NIA during the regime of former President Yahya Jammeh. Ndesise has more details of that in this report.
Torture was a tool the NIA meted on citizens, most of whom committed no crime whatsoever, but were arbitrarily arrested by NIA agents and illegally detained without trial. It was ostensibly used to extract confessions from the detainees. Salimina Drame, the former Director of Operations at the National Intelligence Agency on Monday, explained to the Third Commission the mode of obtaining confessions.
You were that popular because of I was the issuing authority of passport. I don't reject. After interview with are you serious? You don't reject? You think you are doing your job? I have a committee. The chief. And then this other chief in Kantel Kunda. These are my committee members. After the interview, I approve. When they are satisfied, I approve. That's how we were doing it.
According to Drame, he witnessed only 2 tortures that took place during his tenure, and this is how he explained it.
That Alpha Jallo and Usman Libya were beaten at the police station. Yes. Isn't it the case that they were beaten to confess? I told you. Well, Mr. Witness, you didn't tell us. You said he was just kicked and you guys left. It's only now you are admitting that they were beaten. Yes, Counsel. Counsel. Again, when you told us he was just kicked, you were window dressing the truth.
Altara aliadi nyulla oko mukule byalon ko be kutonyanyi banyi nyandikanda dro.
True or false?
Tonya fafania.
I was not window dressing. What you said was false. Maybe I left out something, but it was not window dressing. And what you left out rendered what you gave us to be false.
Accepted,
Counsel.
The National Intelligence Agency was a puppet institution administering dubious atrocities authorized by the exiled former President Yahya Jammeh. It was founded in 1995 by Decree No. 45 issued by the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council (APRC). It replaced the National Security Service of Dawda Jawara. The name has now changed to State Intelligence Service (SIS). For iAfrica News, I am Ndesise.
Witnesses continue to appear before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, that's the TRRC, and we will bring you more details of Mr. Drame's testimony in our subsequent news editions. Now to Ethiopia next, because the Ethiopian hospitality sector is counting losses as the AU summit goes virtual thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hotels in Addis Ababa were usually busy at the time of day hosting African Union delegations, but hotel managers are struggling for business due to the low turnout of customers. As the situation deteriorates, hotel owners are devising means to improve business. Here are more details of that in this report.
This time last year, Sam Omala was already busy attending to African Union Summit delegations. Saro Maria, the hotel he manages, is among those that fill up during the summit period. However, this year, the halls are nearly empty.
Basically, on a normal year, we have been, this month and this season, this period, is a very successful period because the rates are usually high for the accommodation. The average daily rates are high, and we usually operate most hotels, and including ours, we are going up to 90 to 100% occupants. That has been traditionally over the historical data that we have been operating, 90 to 100%. Sometimes there is overbookings, you know. But right now, as you can see, there is loss.
The 96-room hotel is now at only 35% occupancy, mainly filled by local customers.
We are operating with very minimum staff. The number of staff, we have helped them, some of them, to take accumulated leaves. And the leave we are also still paying, we are struggling to pay. But of course the expenses are high. So at this time, usually compared to this year, it is a major challenge for us to operate the business.
With no expected earnings from the summit, the hotel is forced to cut costs all round. This hotel has decided to re-strategize on its pricing and giving discounts up to about 75% of the original prices. For example, this room on a normal day would cost $280, but now it is currently going for $80. Over 160 hotels in the capital, Addis Ababa, are reeling from the absence of the summit.
If likely it's not happening here, it will be very frustrating. Even the employees will not get beside the salary, will not get the service charge that they used to get, and even the total picture of this country will not be the same as before. This is the biggest frustration we have.
The Ethiopian government made available over $55 million last year at low interest rates for the hotel industry. Majority of the hotels took the loans and are expected to start repaying in June this year. But the African Union is confident that a virtual summit will still be as effective as previous physical meetings, especially when it comes to policies.
Yes, we can do many important things, just like the other nations in the world when it comes to examples like the European Union or the G10, etc. All of them, they have taken already these measures just to keep the people safe, and as well as delivering meaningful and good decisions to their people.
The African Union Commission remains out of bounds to visitors. Only essential staff are allowed into the compound. And hoteliers like Sam hope that after about 6 months, business will return to normal and his rooms will be filled with visitors again.
And from the report there in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, next to South Africa. Now, South Africa's President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has lauded the country's mining industry for supporting the COVID-19 vaccine program. The mining sector has widespread health facilities put in place and experience to battle against diseases to save their workers. Thousands of people are expected to receive the vaccines through the intervention of the Mining Council. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The scale and reach of the vaccine rollout is the biggest ever undertaken in South Africa, affecting over 40 million people, and all business sectors in the country are involved.
I'm immensely encouraged by the positive sentiment from the mining industry as expressed by the Minerals Council towards the vaccine rollout. Mining companies are well placed to support the vaccine program, given their experience with managing tuberculosis and HIV amongst their employees. We must continue to ensure that the health and safety of mine workers remains a priority. But this must also apply
to the mine workers' families.
The mining sector has widespread healthcare infrastructure in place. It's needed this to battle against tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS amongst its workers.
Mining, as you're aware, has significant healthcare infrastructure and capacity. That means in terms of healthcare workers and support services as well. And that will enable us to drive the vaccination process. And we certainly hope to play a constructive role as designated points of care under the Department of Health. And this would be particularly important in those regions where there are clusters of mines and mining communities, but also in the sometimes far-flung regions where mining is the dominant economic activity.
The mining industry contributes some 8% to the South African economy, and a vaccine rollout program driven by the sector will affect millions of people. That's over and above the 450,000 people who work on the mines.
Our conservative estimates are that we could vaccinate between 60,000 and 80,000 people a day, if we had the vaccine, of course. And so that would mean in about 2 months, we could vaccinate between 2.5 and 3 million people.
As health authorities finalise their plans for that vaccine rollout, they're going to need to call in all the resources they can find, including the mining sector and their massive health infrastructure.
South Africa mining industry supporting the government's initiative to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. And from that report there, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back, and you're watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV, and once again, thanks for joining us. Now to matters of the National Assembly, where the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, GPOS, on Monday appeared before the National Assembly Public Enterprise Committee for scrutiny, but failed to present its financial statements. The head of the Statistics Department told the committee that the delay in submitting their reports is due to the frequent changes at the Finance Department. Desise has the rest of that story.
The Gambia Bureau of Statistics is the NAF Center for gathering statistical information for the state and are mandated to present its activity and financial statements before the National Assembly Enterprise Committee for consideration, as stipulated under Section 175, subsection 5 of the 1997 Constitution. Appearing before the Public Enterprise Committee, GPOS fails to present its financial statements after failing to submit the same report since 2017. However, Nyakasi Sanyang, the Statistician General at GPOS, told the Public Enterprise Committee that the financial statements are currently with the National Audit Office. He said that the delay in submitting their reports is due to the frequent change at the Finance Department.
Because of the frequent change at the Finance Department also, it was difficult for us to act on time to provide the financial statements to the National Audit Office. We had to resort to hiring the services of a financial consulting firm, which provided support, and all, as I'm talking today, all the 3 financial reports have been submitted to the National Audit Office.
As activity reports cannot be subjected for consideration without financial statements, the Public Enterprise Committee proposed that GPOS should submit its financial statements by 15 March 2021. But Musa Jallo, Senior Manager at the National Audit Office, could not tell when they could present the requested reports to the committee.
When we are on our planning for 2021, Unfortunately, we have not included GBOS in our plan for 2021, but we'll be revising this plan every 3 months, quarterly. So we'll revise our plan to include GBOS most likely in March. That is at the office level. But at the unit level also, we are trying to meet by tomorrow to see how we accommodate these audits. So it's not likely we can be able to audit them before the 15th of March or before the end of March complete.
The Gambia Bureau of Statistics is the National Statistical Office for the Gambia, founded by the powers vested under the Statistics Act of 2005. GBOS is responsible for the collection, compilation, analysis and dissemination of official statistical data, as well as carrying out central functions required for all other statistical services. The Statistical Bureau is expected to reappear before the Public Enterprise Committee to submit their statements for consideration. For iAfrica News, I am DCC.
And from the report there by DCC on matters of the National Assembly, finally, we end this news bulletin in Zimbabwe because as the world battles against the COVID-19 pandemic, Zimbabweans have something to smile about as the country's Victoria Forest water levels rises. Last year, Victoria Forest registered its highest fall in a decade, and the current rate is expected to go higher. The magical forest presently offers visitors stunning viewing experience. Let's have more of that in this report.
It is one of 7 natural wonders of the world. It might be Mother Nature's greatest works of art, depending on which part of the world is seeing, but there is no doubt that the jaw-dropping and majestic Victoria Falls are more than just a geological splendor, but a natural embodiment of hope and renewal. At a time the world is battling the global pandemic COVID-19, this beauty of God's creation could be a sign of the abundant life and hope for Zimbabwe. The Victoria Falls is moving steadily towards its fullest grandeur. Latest data from the Zambezi River Authority shows that flows at Victoria Falls have almost doubled, reaching 1,215 cubic meters per second as of the 4th of February compared to 636 cubic meters per second on the same date last year.
The truth is that we've got something to smile about. If we look at our majestic Victoria Falls, it's impressive that the water level is rising. So yes, we are saying things are not going the way we want regarding COVID-19. But we've got something to smile about. Victoria Falls is flourishing.
Victoria Falls recorded its highest flow in a decade last year, and at the current rate, there is optimism the natural wonder will surpass last year's flow rate. The Victoria Falls rainforest, which is a dense woodland vegetation supported and nourished by the constant sprays from the waterfall, currently offers some stunning views. In its current state, the magical forest will certainly give any visitor the tropical wonderland experience.
You start by looking at the rainforest. As you walk into the rainforest, you can see a difference from last year. Last year, walking into the rainforest at this time of the year, it was still very dry. But at the moment, there's a good vegetation. It's all very green. That's very impressive.
This sheer power and majesty is no doubt what mesmerized Scottish explorer David Livingstone, who famously remarked, open quote, "Scenes so lovely must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight," close quote. As millions around the world eagerly await the reopening of international borders in order to experience the soul-stirring power of the world's greatest sheet of falling water, millions of liters of Zambezi water continue to tumble majestically down the Patoka Gorge. The smoke continues to thunder. The angels continue beckoning at the beauty of God's creation. Zimbabwe can indeed shout, "Hear world, God loved Zimbabwe." Lakmo Safuli, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
That amazing report there in Zimbabwe finally bring this news bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, you can visit on our website on africa.tv. But for now, though, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.